Welcome to this episode of Mo Money. I'm Alexander Palmaris, your host. There's a saying I came up with a while ago: if you don't take care of your money, someone else would be more than happy to do it for you. Have you ever wondered how exactly banks make their money? Of course, there's the exorbitant fees they charge every time you make a banking mistake. Some banks will charge you huge bounce fees if you use their account-linked debit or credit cards. Instead of outright rejecting an overdraft, they'll say they did you a favor by charging you $80 for your $10 purchase. I guess they were saving you the embarrassment of being declined. For that, you must pay, and pay dearly you will. Of course, there are also account fees, wire fees, and sometimes per check fees as well. But enough on that. I've discussed these issues already in a past Mo Money episode. The real point here is that there's another huge way that banks make fortunes off you. While most banks do this to some degree, those that offer free checking accounts do it to an even greater extent. And can you blame them? They're just trying to make a buck like everyone else. But if you're wise to it, they don't have to be earning it off of your back. And today, Vienna Marriott joins us to share this secret with us and how you too can benefit. Thanks so much for joining us again today, Vienna. It's so great to see you. Please tell us more about how banks are making loads of money off their clients.
Hey, Alexander. Mwah, mwah. You know, I just love to share with my fans. Now, you know that current short-term interest rates are over 5%. That means that for every $10,000 you have just sitting in your bank account, at the end of the year, you should have at least an extra $500 for doing nothing but waiting. In fact, if you have over $100,000 sitting in a bank account like I usually do, except you didn't take anything out, you should have over $5,000 more at the end of the year if you consider that the APR, or annual percentage rate, will be even higher due to the effects of compound interest. So of course the taxman will come in and take his big chunk at the end of the year and knock that down, but here's the real clincher. Most of you may never see more than a fraction of that on your money. Why? Because that's how most banks make their monthly fees off of you.
Wow, that's fascinating, Vienna. Please, tell us more.
Sure, Alexander, not a problem. Imagine that you have just $10,000 sitting in a bank account. Okay, that charges you no monthly fees. But you think that's okay, they still pay you a little bit of interest. Well, if you look closer and if they pay any interest at all, it may be in the area of 0.1%. And for savings, I've seen as low as 0.25% to perhaps 2% from accounts that require $5,000 minimums to waive the fees. So the real question is, how much is a free account really costing you if you leave more than $1,000 or so in it at a time?
Wow. So for a $10,000 account that should be earning 5% a year, your account, considering the APR should be even higher, is likely costing you at least $40 to $50 per month?
Yeah. Totally, that's what you're missing out on.
That's nuts.
Exactly, Alexander. So hey, I love to spend, but I also like to earn what I do. I mean, how would you like to have that kind of extra cash in your Louis Vuitton? And now multiply that for every additional 10K you have just sitting around, and you're talking about some real serious cash.
Now, one other question I do have is that banks do offer CDs, certificates of deposit. I don't mean compact discs. Can't people just buy a CD as well?
Yes, they can, Alexander, but that's also another gimmick for the most part. The short-term rates are currently over 5%, which means these rates should be available to you without any lockup period at all. In fact, I recently saw banks offering a higher rate for a 3-month CD than for a 6-month CD. Can you believe that?
That's unbelievable. So what can our viewers do about that?
Well, for one thing, how about opening a PayPal account that pays over 5% just for keeping your funds in that account? Funds can be withdrawn directly from your bank account by ETF transfer and clear within just a few days. And you don't have to lock your money up for 3 months or more to get that rate.
That's right. That's basically because PayPal makes their money on transaction fees, and they use this as an incentive so that people don't use credit cards, right? So while this is better for them, since they still charge businesses as if a credit card was used, it also works out in your favor as well.
That's exactly right again, Alexander. And for those worried about phishing attacks, PayPal's new key dongle, sorry, that word makes me giggle, helps protect your account by changing your password every 30 seconds. The key will only cost you an extra $5.
And based on that logic, Vienna, another alternative to consider is placing funds in a brokerage account such as Interactive Brokers, which is now also compatible with my trading platform, Timora Pro, by the way. While you may have to pay $10 a month or so for real-time quote fees, hey, you're actually getting something for your money. They pay you around 5% as well on your money, and you also have the ability to make a few trades. If you invest in a solid stock with a nice dividend, your tax rate will actually go down to 15%. Note that not all dividends are taxed like this, such as for REITs, which are real estate investment trusts. So be sure to do your research.
That's exactly right, Alexander. And also, I do that as well. When comparing banks with the best returns, watch out for the APR trick.
The APR trick? What's that? Please tell us more.
See, many companies will advertise what seem to be great rates, but the rates they show are actually the annual percentage rate based on compound interest.
Interesting.
If a company offers, say, a 4.9% interest rate and another offers 5% APR, it's actually about the same thing. Take away the APR trick and you'll notice that PayPal is one of the highest paying around with the current 7-day annual average yield of about 5.04%.
Cool.
Wow, and of course any of these rates that we're talking about are still better than the 0.01 something offered by many of these free checking accounts like you were talking about. I think there's one last thing that is important to mention too though. For accounts like PayPal, not all of them might be guaranteed by the FDIC. So while the risks are still pretty small, there may be a slight additional risk to consider.
True. Thanks for covering me on that.
No problem, Vienna. Thank you so much also for your keen insights today, and I'm sure your fans are so appreciative that you took your time to share your insights with them. And we look forward to having you on the show again.
Hey, no problemo, Alexander. It's my pleasure helping all the little people whose loyalty helped me become the celeb I am today. So, love ya. Mwah.